We respectfully acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people as the traditional owners of the land in which this video was filmed.
Hi, I'm Crystal Kinsella. I'm a proud Jawa and Wiradjuri woman, a supply diversity expert and published author. Welcome to Meet the Mob, a YouTube series dedicated to showcasing Black excellence in business. Here I get to interview deadly First Nation business owners from around the country and learn about their why. Today I'm joined by Jaynaya Winmar from Blakbone Sistahood, who will share with us her why she got into business and why she does what she does. So let's kick it off. How you going, sis?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, tell my audience who you are. Who's your mob?
Kaya, my name's Jaynaya Winmar. I'm a Noongar Balladong woman from literally 2 hours up the road. I live on Naarm, Melbourne, for the last 20 odd years. In that time, I've started 2 businesses that I operate on. Predominantly, Blakbone Sistahood is where I do a lot of work with Indigenous women in the space and creating space for them, and professional development programs and opportunities that are tailored to us and our needs as Indigenous women in that space. So that's my passion piece.
Yeah.
I do have a commercial cleaning company that I do a lot of work with as well in that cleaning aspect, but it's not actually a passion piece. It's just one of those things that fell into my lap during COVID. So
yeah, lots of things. I think that's where we first really started connecting, was during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like there was all the online Zoomies and stuff where people were getting together, and which was really cool.
Yeah, there was all those opportunities because we're all face-to-face contact people. So being kind of stuck in COVID and being in Melbourne because we had the hardest lockdown in Australia, and then trying to get to Perth too. So a lot of that restriction period, you had to do permits, and I think I managed to get over to Perth twice in that period of time. But having those online catch-ups with Indigenous businesses especially kind of helped me kind of break out of that little 2-bedroom apartment in Docklands that I am in all the time. So
yeah, definitely. So it's really glad that I was able to catch you while you're actually over here, because you're not normally back home in Melbourne. So the stars aligned, which is pretty good. So look, talk to us a little bit about your why. Like, what's driving you? I was reading on your LinkedIn this morning. I just caught my eye, cycle breaker. Just tell us a little bit more about you, who you are, and your why.
I know, like, it's a hard one because I've always been known as someone that connects other people. So I think when I started to go to networking sessions, especially with mob networking, everyone kept calling me Black Lego because they're like, oh, Jaynaya has met this person, or you know this person.
I love that.
So I'm like going, yeah, kind of like Black Lego. But I think being in that global Indigenous women network that we're a part of, the one that resonated with me was cycle breaker, because there was a lot of women kind of doing that for community. I'm like going, well, I am kind of doing that too, because I go into spaces and boardrooms don't look like me. And even when I first started going into board spaces, like, I toned myself down, I dressed all corporate, straightened my hair for the death of it, and now I'm kind of embracing who I am and like dressing the way I feel comfortable, and making sure I'm also promoting other Indigenous businesses in that space. So all of what I'm wearing today is all WA women. So it's that, for me, that's really important too, is being comfortable in that space and putting on my coat of armour. But I set up Blakbone Sistahood because Black women are the backbone of our community. So that's pretty much what the name entails. My pop's got 7 sisters. So for me, we always had loud, proud Black women. So it was just kind of that merging of, what am I going to do? So I went out of employment services back in the day. I moved to Melbourne for an opportunity with them. Fell into working at the AFL and did all the reconciliation action plans for the clubs and a lot of the corporate stakeholders that they had, which gave me a insight into the corporate world and what that looked like and how I can kind of impact changes there. So for me, that was really important to kind of be doing things right, and not just doing it just to tick a black box. So that evolved into me working for Indigenous businesses. So I started with a Indigenous telecommunication company doing business development, pretty much doing that black Lego, connecting the dots and dragging them to different networking opportunities that I felt would be appropriate for them as well. And then I started working with Isaac at Bunjil Energy, which is an Indigenous solar energy company. And then transitioned to going, oh, well, I want to do a lot more with Indigenous women because I got asked to be on panels, I got asked to kind of do all these networking events, but I had to like look through all my Instagram photos to find the best photo because I didn't have any professional photos. So my first event was for Indigenous women where we had their hair and makeup done by an Indigenous makeup artist. We had an Indigenous female photographer come and do their photos, and I had an Indigenous business work on their LinkedIn profile and their resume. So for me, that was really important because I was creating a bio and not knowing how to create a bio when we do this, and kind of if I didn't have time, other women probably didn't have time too. So creating space for them to be able to do that was really important.
Definitely. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, we share some similarities because my mum is one of 10 and there was 8 girls. So long line of women and like a big strength. And so I really love that you kind of titled your business in that way of that recognises and honours the fact that Black women are the backbone, most definitely. So that sounds like quite a bit of a journey there you've been on, like kind of evolving, from doing raps at the AFL to, working and encouraging and supporting other Black women.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that like building that confidence to kind of step out and be comfortable to kind of go, yep, this is what I'm doing now. That was a process too because I lived in Melbourne. There weren't a lot of Noongar people over there at that stage, and all of my connections were at the AFL because all of my cousins and nephews and everyone plays for footy at some stage. So for me, it was always supporting them in going, what are you doing after footy? What you one injury away from the rest of your life? What are you doing? Now, proudly, like there's so many businesses popping out from the boys coming out of football or that are still in football. So for me, that was that natural progression of supporting like my mob, but then also going, well, what can I be doing? So stepping out and kind of being comfortable, and I think working with Isaac and him going, just do it. Like you can do it while you're doing this, and so kind of creating space for me to do that, but supporting me and being like that brother that was supporting that champion of change stuff. But we just do it naturally because we're a mob.
So you wear lots of different hats as well. So I'm glad that you talked about boards. Are you sitting on some boards at the moment?
Yeah, a few boards, a lot of advisory panels.
Yeah.
So I'm on the Closing the Gap Foundation. So on the foundation board, and I have been for 3 or 4 years. So for me, that was really important because supporting the women changing from working out of like a small office space to kind of having a warehouse and a packing room and like a huge space now that they do have. So for me, that was really important to kind of go, like I'm going to help them with that, but also that corporate dynamic that they didn't have because they were from the Aboriginal health organisation background and being in community orgs, and so that's where their passion piece came from. But then they also went, well, we can be doing this as a business, and then the fashion brand kind of helped them create space for healthy education for especially Indigenous women over COVID too, because they had a program called Wella Women that operated over that COVID. So we had a lot of Wattle Seed Nutrition came on and did a segment about like talking about what natural foods or native foods that we kind of have taken away from our diet within Western culture and re-putting it back into your diet and kind of those superfoods that we previously ate. So I think that was really important too because they made those programs not generic, but they were tailored and specific to us. So I'm on that board. I am do a lot of work with the Office of Women. So I'm on this advisory group or selection board for the Victorian Women's Honour Roll. so many, I forget what they all are. But yeah, definitely a lot of those passion pieces, and I think it now stepping into that global dynamic with the IndigiX organisation and the World Indigenous Women industry that we're doing as a kind of subsection to the World Indigenous Business Forum. So that's really important, like to see that growth and kind of be putting up my hand, because I'm putting up my hand to create space for people coming behind me. So it's, if I'm not saying yes, then other people kind of won't get opportunity. So it's creating that space.
It gives you a lot of diversity in what you do, hey, like, so you're not just in business, but, you know, putting your hand in various different things that, you know, align with your passions and your values and stuff like that as well. I didn't know that you were, working with Clothing the Gap, so that's good to know that and understand.
I think I fell in love with the whole process of what they do. So even through COVID, they had to flip to selling t-shirts, and then had all of their family kind of come in and pack all the shirts going out to everyone that was in lockdown, doing all sorts of things. So they were in a building that used to be, when I first moved to Melbourne, the Victorian Indigenous Sports. But yeah, so they were in the VI office, and then so having to move out of that because their orders were too great, so they had to move into a space that they could have boxes but also do the packing, and then do it in reverse, because we couldn't do face-to-face stuff, so people couldn't actually go in store and shop. So not having the retail space set up first, but having a warehouse set up first, completely different dynamic. But being able to have that conversation, and I don't know, Sarah that is also on the board, she is doing like a university program at the moment, talking about wearing your values on your shirt, and what impact that has, not just nationally, globally. So that research piece is really interesting too, because you're finding out different things like wearing all of the Kirikan stuff, and Buffy Creative, and so just being able to have those support systems, but then the impact of it, because I kind of wear this when I travel, and I'm sitting in Qantas Business Lounge and people go, oh my God, I love your outfit. I'm like, oh, you can get it too. So like being able to share that, and then even when you go internationally, people kind of looking at what you're wearing or what you're doing, and like the story behind it is really important. So that's kind of what I got on board with Clothing the Gap, because it was really impactful.
Yeah, so another similarity, because whenever I'm rocking something from Kirikan or Mara Collective, it is, and or earrings, it's always a talking piece. People always come up and comment. I've got the blue jacket, and I had that on in Sydney a whole week, and just so many people, where did you get it? I'm like, here's the link, go and buy some. So yeah, it's good. It's a really, I guess, a non-intrusive way to start conversations, but also to, I guess, connect people as well. Like clothing, so it's a part of, your identity, who you are. And I think it says it 1,000 words as well.
Yeah, and Mob have always been doing that. So like Aboriginal organisations always had like a deadly shirt or something that had kind of rolled out every year. So like I think even my cupboard, like here back at home at Mum's, like I've still got all of my Mob shirts from whatever we've been doing there. So and I know most people's cupboards kind of look like that at the moment. So you kind of keep things because they're deadly at the time. You're going, but I can't keep wearing these. So I love the fact that our fashion is evolving too, because we've got so many different options now. Before it was pretty much one place where we can be getting stuff. Now they're everywhere, and you kind of get excited when you go different places now, and there's like a blackfella shirt somewhere, or there's like, I have an affinity for pajamas, and so Peter Alexander did that collaboration, so I'm like going, I need to buy that, so for me that's really important too, because like doing stuff that you feel comfortable in, but also you're telling that story.
Definitely. COVID nearly sent me broke, I think, because I made this commitment during COVID, was I will buy one item from an Indigenous business every week. And you should see at my house, I have hundreds of earrings. I've got piles this big that don't even fit in the drawer of T-shirts, of like different Mob business T-shirts, like you name it, active wear towels. I've got it. It's just crazy. But yeah, I don't know. It gives me a lot of things to I mean, I know I'm doing my bit to support the Black economy, but yeah, it's being that billboard when you're walking around as well.
Yeah, and it's that free support too that you can give. Like, you don't have to actually buy a lot of the stuff that's out there. You can be like liking and sharing it on social media.
Yeah.
So I always say that's the freest support you can give to a Black business is liking them, following them online and sharing all their stuff. And even in this last 2 months, I've had the opportunity to travel around Australia, but to go to Indigenous restaurants. So in Darwin, Sunshine Coast and Melbourne. So I think I've kind of bar hopped Black businesses over the last all around the country. So it's been amazing.
I bet it has as well. So what's the future hold for Blakbone Sistahood?
Well, it's kind of me stepping up my game too. So it's kind of not necessarily stepping back from Blakbone, but streamlining it so it's not just me on the forefront. So creating a website, because I don't have a website.
That's one of the no-nos.
I know, but it's just because when I first started doing it, like I got so busy doing the actual job, I didn't actually create the network and stuff like that. So I think the opportunity now I have of being able to step back and kind of go, okay, so I need this, I need that, and getting it all set up. So it's not just me running around. So it's more of a organized chaos, not just chaos. So that's really important for me. But a lot of global opportunities next year. So in New Zealand, we've got the Indigenous Women in Industry conference in February. I'm also ambassador for Minderoo's Dream Venture Masterclass program. So we've got the Black Angels, which is Indigenous businesses investing in other Indigenous businesses. So we've got a learning opportunity in America in March. And there's a whole bunch of different things that is happening out there that on that global scale that is impacting where we're going to be in, and what spaces we're going to be sitting in the next couple of months. So it's
exciting. It's going to be busy. I'm looking forward to iwi in February next year. So what's the legacy piece for you?
For me, it's all about creating that space. So it is that cycle breaking aspect of it. So I volunteer my time also to a lot of organisations that I feel are doing amazing stuff, like Cultures Life have a fellowship program that they're actually in WA at the moment. So I'm dropping into them tomorrow because they're going to be at the University of WA. So they're on country at the moment doing some bush food tours. So disappointed I flew in too late to go down to Mandurah to do that with them today. But for me, it's creating that legacy piece of stepping out into my outside of my comfort zone. So then my comfort zone becomes larger. Yeah. So when I create a bigger comfort zone for myself, other people stepping into that space as well. So this year I said yes to emceeing the Dreamtime President's Function at the MCG. So for me, that was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then realising what I was actually doing as I was walking to the MCG, and then being there and rounding everybody up and being front and centre for that event, because I'm not usually like a, hey, look at me type MC. But for me, it was kind of really important because we have so many amazing people that are in that space that will be looked at next year because I was given the opportunity and went, oh, hey, we had an Indigenous MC, so how about we look at doing this for different events, not just Dreamtime. So for me, that was really important. So so I kind of train people to take over my role, so so that I don't have to be doing it all the time, because that's really important. And if I see other women succeeding in spaces that I've created, I'll gladly kind of jump into another space so I can see where that looks like. And I think that's where my business, when you look at everything I've done, I've stepped into different spaces because people have come along and either been better in that space or I feel that they could be better in that space. So I'm like going, I can support you, but I don't have to be doing that. So for me, that's really important, is that self-growth in other people as well as myself.
Yeah, it's so important. And you're creating space, you're showing people how to show up, and then you're kind of you know, just then the support person along the side. So if you had a key message for my audience that you wanted to share, what would it be?
You belong wherever you want to be. So it's kind of me realizing that in that boardroom situation where it's usually like middle-aged white men that didn't look like me then when I first stepped into that space. So now you look at the diversity on boards, you look at the people that are in those spaces and the people that are, how they're dressing in those spaces. Like we're embracing that change, and I think that's really important. So be wherever you want to be.
Be wherever you want to be. That's a real powerful message. So thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed the latest episode of Meet the Mob, and make sure you connect with Jaynaya online, share her story with your networks. Until next time.